as we explore conversations with unique, interesting, and extraordinarily fierce women who found squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses as a way to survive, overcome, and thrive through all of life's challenges. Badass women and those in training. May we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. Are you a badass or are you in training? Tune in and let's talk. Hello, everybody. Vicki Nevins here, your host of Badass Women and Those in Training. And this morning, you're in for a real treat. We have Erica Denham with us all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. And she has an incredible story of overcoming adversity, squeezing the lemons and sporting the rose-colored glasses with joy and beyond. So thanks for being with us today, Erica. I really appreciate your time, and you have such a fabulous smile.
Thanks for having me, Vicki. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to dive into some questions with you. So, do you have a sense of humor?
I absolutely have a sense of humor.
Well, that goes with your great smile. Good. So, are you a badass or are you in training?
I'm a badass.
Yes, you are. And I love the way you say it. You say
Thank
that
you.
with conviction, girl. You own your space. Good job.
Yes. Thank you.
So, for a little icebreaker, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be? And how would you use it to conquer adversity in your life?
Wow, what a great question. So if I were a superhero, my superpower would be the power to heal. I think for me, I'm very empathetic when it comes to others. So I was the kid, back many years ago when I would see like the St. Jude commercials on television, even to today, I would want to go and make a donation. I at one point wanted to become a pediatrician to be able to heal, And I think that's something that I've taken with me throughout the course of my life. But, how would I use that to tackle adversity in my own life or for others? That's a really interesting question for me because on the one hand, like it would be great to just be able to fix things immediately, right? And I would definitely do that as much as I possibly could, for as
Right.
many
But if you
people.
just fixed it, that doesn't fix it.
Exactly. And I think that's where I was gonna go next. For me, you said, "Are you a badass?" And I said, "Absolutely, yes." And the reason why is because of the things that I've overcome, because of the challenges that I've experienced in my life and the things I've learned from them. So I think when things happen to you in your life, you get that inner strength through the journey. So I would say that I would use my superpower to be able to relate to others, to hear their stories, and to be able to help them as much as I can as they're just kind of going through it and dealing with it.
Yeah, I understand that completely because doing that for somebody else, I mean, while it's great to be able to fix the situation at the time, doesn't mean it educated them in learning how to fix it for themselves in the future.
Exactly. What I've learned in my life is resilience. That's so powerful because then, when things come your way, I think for me now, at this point in my life, I really try to see things from glass half full, even when things aren't going my way. And I think it's because it's just what I've experienced so far. So I'm like, each day that I'm blessed to see is a chance for things to improve for me, whatever that situation is. Hopefully that answers the question.
It does. And I'm one of these people that I'm not a glass half empty or a glass half full. It's a glass.
Mhm.
Fill it up. And you can always keep refilling it.
I
You
like
can drink
that.
from it, you can fill it, you can pour it out and start over. It's a glass. Just do with it whatever you need that day.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and you're the founder of Step Into Purpose with Gratitude, yes?
So, yeah, Step in Purpose with Gratitude is actually it's my Facebook group that I have related to a gratitude journal that I published. And that gratitude journal includes a 21-day gratitude challenge. But yeah, I have a business called Step in Purpose, and it's focuses on personal and professional development. And we also have inspirational apparel and gifts like t-shirts. Like I have a t-shirt on right now, mugs, things like that.
What was on your first t-shirt?
The message on my first t-shirt was 21-day gratitude challenge, invincible spirit, unconquerable soul. And that
Yeah.
was something that just really spoke to me and speaks to me.
What gets you out of bed every single morning with enthusiasm and joy?
For me, I think right now, like I said, I am in the process of trying to grow my business. So the way I look at that is how can my products that I'm creating and producing, how can they impact the lives of others? Because like I said, I'm working on things that I hope will inspire people or I hope will move them along their journeys. So for me, that's very exciting. It's like, what can I do next? I really do believe in what I'm doing. And I think that truly goes along with like when you put purpose behind, your life and steps that you take along the way, it just yeah, it makes getting up in the morning that much more fun.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Okay, let's talk about the adversity roller coaster. Life is hard, life is short, and life is full of opportunities. Can you share a funny or unexpected twist in your journey that made you rethink your approach to adversity?
Oh
So what
wow.
thrown at you and you went, oh, wait a minute, I got to redo this.
Oh gosh. I feel like that happens all of the time. I mean, honestly, it was more recently, it was losing a job that I'd had during 2020, so this was COVID times. I basically got this opportunity to head up marketing for a small but rapidly growing company. And I was so excited because they had this great vision and this mission, and I was totally on board and behind it. And I'm a visionary individual leader, and I get excited, and I was so excited about that. So kind of got going with the job, and we did a whole lot in a short amount of time. Just kind of on top of the world with this. And end of 2020, I get a call from my boss, who's the owner of the company, and he was basically like, "Hey, we need to make some adjustment." And so as a result, I lost my job. Yeah. And I mean, it was just a situation that kinda came out of the blue for me because things had been going so well, and I had to pivot, It's like, "Okay, so now what?" It was good money coming in and all of that excitement, and plus, I was like, "Okay, this must be part of the reason why I'm here, is to help them with this mission, achieve this big goal." And, yeah, and that right, and it was like, "Okay, well, so maybe not." So I took, it was like the weekend before the New Year. I'll never forget this. And what was interesting was at this company, they had a newsletter we would send to the employees, right? And I would write the newsletter, and I always ended with it was a word of the day or word of the month. That particular word was or actually it was a couple of words because it was near the holidays, but it was choose joy. And so, I said, I wrote this for other people, but maybe the message was really meant for me. And I have a choice here. I can get really down and be sad about the situation, or I can choose joy. And so I decided, I took the weekend off, mourned a bit because you have to do that, right? So I mourned a bit and then I let it go. And I said, we're going to look to the future and celebrated the new year. And that first week of January, I got busy. And so I worked on my step and purpose business and I got the gratitude journal going. So, hey, situation came and I said, it wasn't what I had anticipated, but we took lemons and made lemonade.
You rose to the challenge.
Yes,
Yes, you did. So you had that moment where the rug was pulled out from under your feet. You felt like the air had sucked out from you. You were just like hit and wounded, right?
all of that.
And you had that emotional going on, moments of crying, I'm sure, and
Yes,
anger, and you
all
wanted to
across the
really, you know, let all that out. And then you stepped back and you thought about it. And the true entrepreneur in you popped in there and said, opportunity, and you gave yourself permission to move forward.
yes, I did.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. Good job. I see that as a common trait with all my badass women that I've been connected with and collaborating with for these last several decades. That is a common thread is you see that opportunity and you say yes to it and you give yourself permission to move forward. Whether you realize that you're giving yourself permission or not, you do. Okay, so life's soundtrack. If you had a theme song for facing challenges, like Rocky Balboa, what would your theme song be? Why?
What would
And
my theme song be?
you don't have to have just one. For me, it's like I have a multitude of them going through my head at the time. I have like a remix tape going on,
Okay.
a playlist.
Um, so I'm gonna say, "Don't worry, be happy." And the reason I'm saying that is because I used to be a worrier. Like, I worried about everything. And I think it's like life has shown me that, you know, my mom always says, if you're going to pray, don't worry. If you're gonna worry, don't pray. Right. And sometimes when I'm worrying about just everything, I have to remind myself of that. Because here's the reality: if something happens and it's happened, you can't change it, right? What can you do about something that's already happened? Absolutely nothing. But you can respond to, like, what's happened, and you can kind of think about, okay, how do I move now, moving forward? And so I think as I've gotten older, I just had chill out a little bit more, and I've learned to let some things go, especially things that I can't change. Yeah, and so I think that would be my theme song, and I'm very proud of that because, like I said, when you worry all the time, that can lead to health problems, right? Ulcers and, all sorts of things. And yeah, it's like, well, for what? And then half of the time when you're worrying about these things, it might be major to you, but in the grand scheme of things, it might not even really be a big deal. So I think I've moved more into that area. And then as far as happy, like I said before, life is short. It's too short to not be happy. And so I really do try to focus on happiness in my life.
If you were to write an advice column for your younger self, like I like to say, like if you were 16,
Yeah.
what humorous but sage advice would you give to your future self?
Oh man, what advice would I give myself? I think the biggest advice that I would give to myself, and it's not humorous really, but it's just, hey, don't sweat the small stuff. And the other thing I would say to my younger self is to go for it. Like, take those opportunities. When those doors, like, open for you, walk through them. And it might not be the perfect situation, but it might be an awesome situation at that time for you. I used to be, especially when I was younger, I was one of those individuals who thought that, like, I had to have a plan for everything in my life, right? I mean, I wanted to go to the best schools. I wanted to get a great job, work for the right companies. And I thought back then that by doing that, I would achieve this certain level of success, whatever that means. But what I've learned in my life is that when I plan, things never go as planned, never. And so I've had to just pivot, and I've learned that life is just kind of like a little roller coaster. And that's the advice that I would give myself.
True. Never sweat the small stuff. And remember, everything is small.
Everything is small stuff. In the grand scheme of things, everything's small stuff. I've worked in corporate America for many, many years, and you think about every day you get up and go to work. But at the end of the day, at least for what I was doing, like, we weren't curing cancer. But there were constant deadlines and putting in hours of time. And at the end of the day, really, if it didn't get done at that moment, it wasn't necessarily the end of the world, you know? It's really about perspective. And I think that's been one of my greatest lessons.
Very true. And giving yourself permission to say yes to opportunities. That is huge, huge. I mean, once I got out of my own way to say yes to opportunities, it was like, wow, world opened up. I mean, it just opened up, gave me
Mhm.
a whole new perspective on myself and realizing my potential was valid and real. So we all have guilty pleasures that help us unwind. What is one of yours?
Wow. Okay, so I like milkshakes, ice cream. I like yeah, probably the foods I shouldn't be eating, but that just helps me just kinda calm down. Like, sometimes if I just need to get my thoughts together, then I'll just go get a treat.
Absolutely. Oh, and another thing about decisions when we talk about giving permission to say yes, saying yes to an opportunity doesn't mean it has to be a lifelong yes or a
Right.
lifelong opportunity. A lot of times people say, well, if I say yes and I'm stuck with it forever, no, you can change your mind just like you change your outfit. Move on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny, like, that's one of the things I think I admire about, like, some of the younger folks that are coming along now. It seems like they're just wired a little bit differently, and they're just, they're like, "Hey, if this doesn't work, I'm letting it go, I'm moving on, and that's okay," you know? And I totally agree.
Yes. And so speaking of people that, are coming up, badass women and those in training, may we know them, may we be them, may we raise them. What advice or how would you recommend other people help bring this newer generation into wherever that would be?
Yeah. So what I try to do, I'll speak for myself because I have some cousins who are like my little brothers. They're first cousins, but they're a lot younger. Um, I try to just share my experiences, and then I try to hear their perspective because I think a lot of it has to do with just trying to understand each other because like I just said, I mean, I've learned from them and now I'm trying to incorporate some of those things into my own life. But I think it vice versa, I've also tried to show them my perspective or kind of the experience that I've had so that they can understand as well. And maybe there are some things that they can learn from, and from that regard. So that's what I would say. I think conversations need to be had, and then we can take the best of both worlds. That's what I would say.
I was born in the 50s and I was a child of the 60s and, I survived the 70s. So, but I can recall being very young and the people who were of several generations more than me, grandparents, great and the great greats at the time I was very, very young. I thought it was very interesting how they exampled life without trying to teach me lessons, the way they just exampled being of that character
Mhm.
has stuck with me even to where I am now. And I'm 66 and I still remember some of those examples.
Yes.
And I think we can sure make an impression on our younger generations by inviting them into wherever we are
Yes.
to be a part of, I like to say, bring them to my table.
Yes.
Yes,
Um,
they have
I
a seat
can
at the table.
I can totally relate to that. I am fortunate to still have my grandparents. They're 96 now, and they've been married for almost 75, 76 years. Yeah, and to your point, I grew up having my grandparents' siblings around, and so I think I do have a different perspective in just kind of being at the table, literally, and having those conversations and learning, and so, yeah, there needs to be more of that. I think we need to get back to that a bit more.
I agree. So let's see. If you had a fictional sidekick, like a sassy talking parrot
Oh, wow. Okay.
who helped you through tough times, what would their names be and how would they keep your spirits high? My parrot is called Snappy.
Snappy? Oh, that's so funny. Gosh. You know what? I'm gonna go with my sidekick would the name of my sidekick would be Sparkle.
Sparkle, that's a good one.
So Sparkle is going to be a little what was Sparkle be?
A little Tinkerbell fairy.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, that's a good one. We're gonna go with the little Tinkerbell type fairy. Yeah. Because I think sometimes, the reality is we go through our day and we might have the best intentions when we start out the day right. But then all of the everything starts going, right? And you just have to be reminded to never let anyone dull your shine, steal your sparkle, any of that. So yeah, my sidekick will be the little fairy to just sprinkle me from time to time if I need it and get me going again.
Okay, so let's see. Famous last words. If you had a bit of advice or takeaway for any of the ladies who are watching us, either who aspire to be a badass
Mhm.
or those in training, what would you like to leave with them on how you've come through your journey and realized you are a feisty, fierce female and it's okay to own that space?
I would just say to them, you have within you have everything to get to where you want to get to ultimately. And of course, for each of us, it's different, right? So, I talk about purpose. Well, when I think about purpose, I also think about passion. What is it within you that lights you up? Whatever that is, you might need to go someplace, get into a quiet space and really kind of think about that. But really just kinda think about what is it that lights me up, and then make it happen, whatever it is. But I would say you have to take action, you know? Being a badass is not just kinda like keeping it inside because that doesn't if you're not sharing your gifts with the world, like, how does that help, others? It doesn't, right? So you have to get out there, take those steps forward, and just go do it. Like you have it's within you to make it happen. So just go for it.
Right. You are enough. You have
You
everything you need.
absolutely.
You bet you have it in you. Okay. Some quickie questions. If adversity was a food, what would it taste like?
Gosh, eat liver.
Yeah.
I hate liver.
Sure. Favorite food?
Favorite food, French fries,
Mm. Cat or dog?
dog. I didn't grow up with pets, but my significant other has a little bully and she's grown on me. Her name is Shiesty, and she lives up to her name.
They live up to it, don't they? They definitely live up to it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for being here with us today. I have had a great time getting to know you.
Thank
We
you. This has been fun.
we didn't know each other before this experience, did we?
No, we didn't. But it's been a pleasure meeting you for sure. I love your
Absolutely.
energy.
And I'm bringing one of my badass women and those in training and the Chamber of Women Entrepreneurs to Atlanta to do a women's conference. Would you be willing to participate?
Absolutely. I would love it.
I think you'd be a fabulous speaker. Yes.
You. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Woohoo. I got you on camera.
I'm there. I'm there, Vicky.
I'm not surprised. You give yourself permission to say yes a lot and you own your space. That's what I really like about you. You carry yourself as a very intelligent person who knows what they want and they're comfortable being where they're at. Good job. Kudos to you.
Thank
Much
you.
success. Much success sent your way. Thanks, Erica, for being with us. Erica, I really appreciate you and your time that you spent with us today and your fabulous insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Seriously. Once again, it's been a pleasure.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Have a
Bye.
fabulous Tuesday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining me today for a little fun. It's all about squeezing lemons and sporting rose-colored glasses on all kinds of topics for all of my fabulous, fearless friends. That's it for today. So until our next conversation, this is Vicki Nevins, your host of Badass Women and Those in Training. Real conversations with extraordinarily fierce women and so much more. Thank you for watching. In addition to all of the podcast hosts, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. To catch all of our upcoming episodes, remember to like,